Hi there, are you struggling with self-doubt as a healer or an intuitive, a life coach, or a mentor? Stick around, we're gonna get into 9 key tips to having unshakable confidence in your own business. Hi, I'm Erika Renea Larsen. I am a trance angelic channel, a psychic energy healer, and I also instruct others how to open their gifts, learn how to channel, and how to become psychic energy healers, those who want to work as a healer in a more professional setting. Thank you for visiting. We're going to dive into 9 key tips to having unshakable confidence in your healing practice and or private practice. So let's dive in. So confidence, especially in the beginning, is one of the biggest pitfalls for success. And this is because confidence comes with practice. It comes with showing up over and over and over again and doing the thing and building within yourself the trust in your connection, in your knowledge base, in your ability to work with the client, and doing that over and over and over in a repetitive setting. And so, the first thing I want to say is that you have to just continue to show up in your business. And this becomes a really big pitfall for people in the beginning because a lot of times people never really get it off the ground, or they struggle in their practice to ever really get beyond kind of the survival mode with their income or their client load, because the self-doubt is just really strong, and it really impacts how you show up in your sessions. So let's dive into the 9 key tips. The first one that I'm going to say, especially for those of you who are just starting out, this step is really important, and it's really having a close-knit community of people that you can lean on and discuss what you're doing and what you're developing and what you're building. Because here's the tea, guys. You might find that you are the black sheep in the family, that you are the one where you quit your day job, or you left a relationship, or you had some big change on your path, maybe in your spiritual awakening, and you've decided to learn how to develop your gifts and maybe start your own business. And your family and friends are probably looking at you like you've grown 2 heads, like you're the black sheep, and they might be questioning your sanity. And this is fine later on, because when you are down the road and you have more confidence. In the beginning, it's like needing to nurture a pregnancy. It's needing to keep it safe and protected, just like you would with any new business venture. You don't want to go off and share it with the world when it's still in its gestation phases. And in the beginning of your practice, you are in that gestation phase, and so you need to be communicating and relying on a community of people, even just 1 or 2 other individuals that understand what you're going through, have been there themselves, and so they can help you. You can lean on their support in order to stay on course and follow through with what you're doing, because there's nothing worse when you have a new idea and you're being brave and bold and you're stepping out into something unknown, and it takes a lot of vulnerability and a lot of courage. There's nothing worse than having somebody that you care about, or that you care about what they think, coming to you, going to them, and them kind of tarnishing it or stepping on it or questioning it, the validity of it, or whether or not you're capable of doing that thing. So the very first tip that I have is to definitely keep your circle really close when you're in that beginning phase of doing what you're now doing. Second tip is really stay on top of your inner narrative. Make sure that your perspective is one of opportunity and curiosity and growth and learning, and not negativity. Not, you're not good enough at this, you don't know what you're doing, you don't know how to handle this situation, I don't know if I did that very well. We can really create a lot of negativity in our mind when we're in a place of vulnerability, or when we're learning something new and putting that into practice. And so we have to really take care of our internal narrative and make sure that we are really building ourselves up, like being your best friend, like talking to yourself like you are an advocate for yourself, and fostering that inner narrative that is aligned with what it is that you want, right? And really treating yourself with compassion and kindness while you are moving through the initial stages of developing a gift, or taking that ability into practice and showing up with a paid client, right? Because that makes something really serious, and there's a lot of pressure on ourselves when we're taking paying clients. And so we need to make sure that we are being like a best friend to ourselves and being kind and compassionate, because what you're doing is really brave, and it takes a lot of courage to step out and to show up in that way. Third tip, measuring results. Okay, so especially in the beginning, but this is true throughout your entire practice. I have been a healer for 15 years. I have been working with clients for over 5,000 client hours. I've been doing this for a long time. And being able to measure results is really imperative for being able to track progress within the client, but also that you are on the right track, that your approach is working. And so it could be something where somebody is picking their nose, somebody is picking their face, somebody might be biting their nails, somebody might not be having good sleep patterns, might have a short fuse with their children or their spouse, have a poor relationship with a parent. There's lots of different symptoms, and I call those symptoms, of something deeper that's going on. And when that person comes to you with that, request or that ailment or symptom, and you're able to see measurable results on the other side of that, it's really exciting and it really boosts your confidence. So having somebody come in, especially with things that are very clear, like I had knee pain and I no longer have knee pain, right? I came in with a headache and the headache is gone. I came in with horrible morning sickness in my pregnancy and it dissolved and never came back. Those are, by the way, all of these are things that I have experienced with my clients. So I'm pulling from different examples from past client sessions. These are all measurable results, and it's really exciting as a healer or a coach or a mentor or professional to see measurable, results. And there's nothing more exciting than having the feedback in the next session where they're like, I'm good, or I felt great, or my headache was gone, or I slept that night, or something even deeper. I have a better relationship with my mom now. Those are fantastic confidence boosters in your practice. And so do what you can to measure those results and make sure that you are getting the clear symptom before a session and that you are following up on that person's progress in the follow-up session so that you're able to get that feedback. If you're having a follow-up session with that client and you aren't checking in with them and how they're doing and how they were after the session and what their symptoms are now, they may be having results and you just don't know. So you definitely need to follow up with the client in the following session. Tip number 4. Again, confidence builds over time. When I first started out in my healing practice, and this was actually, I started out with coaching and hypnotherapy and Reiki. Like I started with some very specific certifications in the beginning of my business. And I remember when I first started, daily deals were a huge thing, and that is how I got going. Was I just did daily deals and I was working for pennies. My sessions weren't even they were just covering the rent of the office. I was not making a whole lot of bank, but I knew that I needed to build confidence by practice. And so in the beginning, especially in your business, get out there, get in front of people, and that confidence will build over time. Okay, the more you show up, the more you get experience under your belt, the more you are exposed to different situations, the deeper your confidence will become, and that self-esteem, that self-worth that you are good at what you do will become unshakable, like a solid foundation for you to build the rest of your career and your practice off of. Confidence tip number 5. Some sessions are harder than others, okay? And this is just true across the board, no matter what stage you are in your business. There's times where even today I will have a healing session with somebody and it is like wading through mud. Especially I see this a lot with clients who either have deeply rooted problems or have not done a lot of work on themselves. Okay, somebody who hasn't done a lot of therapy or healing work, and they come in to see you, and it is like trying to open up a can with a dull can opener, and it just moves really slow. So just know sometimes some sessions are harder than others, and we just have to kind of take that as it is. And what we think may not have been a very good session might be completely transformative for that individual. So we have to be really careful not to project our expectations onto the client session. So hang in there and give yourself a break, give yourself some slack. You're doing a great job, And just know it's not all dependent on you. A lot of it is dependent on the client themselves and where they're at in their healing journey. Some sessions are more difficult than others because some sessions are more complex, right? There might be multiple layers that you have to shift through over time to get to the root cause of that healing. You might have to go through layer after layer after layer after layer to get to the root of a really deep wound. And so just know, have realistic expectations and never guarantee results. Like, we don't do that, right? Because we don't have a crystal ball. We can't see how this person is going to respond to the work that we're doing or what layer we're at in their healing journey. Confidence tip number 6. Okay, make sure in a very confidential, respecting HIPAA laws, respecting confidentiality regulations and laws, but confiding in other healers or coaches or other colleagues trusted colleagues within your modality, within your practice. This is really important. It's really important to have 1, maybe 2 people that do similar work to you where you can talk about an approach that you had or a problem you had or something that a client came in with that you are working on, and that you're able to kind of riff off of one another's approaches or how you worked with that client, how you engaged with that client, how to follow up with that client. Having a network of other people that you can work with behind the scenes to kind of compare how they're doing and what their approach is. We grow with collaboration. Collaboration is everything. So definitely have 1 or 2 trusted people that you can confidently and confidentially collaborate with, okay? It will help you with your confidence, it will help you with your skill set, it will help you with your knowledge base, it'll help you know that you're not the only one going through what you're going through. Definitely have those resources that you can lean on for support. It is invaluable. Tip number 7, know your gifts. All right, so if you're a healer or an intuitive or even a coach, you have inherent spiritual gifts that you thrive at naturally, that you were born with or that have developed over time as you've aged and moved down your path in this life. And your dreams are a great way to show you what those abilities are. But knowing what your gifts are is really helpful for knowing that you're on the right track. If you're a hands-on healer and you are actually using a hands-on healing modality, you know that you're making a difference without putting yourself at risk, okay? There are people who want to learn Reiki or a hands-on healing modality, and they're not actually hands-on healers. And the problem with this is that it can make them sick. It can be that they can end up drawing energy from their own life force, and instead of actually channeling the frequencies because they don't have that ability. And so there are great symbols that can show you in your dreams what your healing abilities are, what your spiritual gifts are. Tip number 8 for Unshakable Confidence. I have been doing this work for 15 years. I think I mentioned that earlier. And it is a very solo journey. Y'all, like, you are in the trenches, working from home or from an office on your own, and it is a very lonely path at times. And so you don't have somebody behind you necessarily cheering you on and telling you that you did a good job and patting you on the back. And so you kind of have to be that cheerleader for yourself. You have to really be an advocate for yourself and, acknowledge that how far you have come, how much you have created, how much you have developed as a healer, as a coach, as a business owner, and the impact that you're making on the world. And so I think for this one, it's really about self-acknowledgement and celebrating the wins that nobody's seeing except you, and remembering like, hey, I'm in this on my own, and that's a big thing. Like, be proud of yourself. You've come a long way and you have so much farther to go. So stick with it. Don't give up. It's everything to just keep on the journey. Tip number 9. To round out the 9 tips for unshakable confidence in your business, nothing else will work if this one isn't followed. Don't give up. Like, don't stop. Some people, I've had this question many times. People are like, how did you get here? And the answer is like, I just never quit. Like, I never stopped moving forward. I never stopped showing up. I never let myself get stuck in the self-doubt and then go and apply for a second job. Did that once during a holiday season. I lie. I moved to a really expensive area. Okay, that did happen. But It wasn't because I was trying to get out of my job. It was because I had moved to a completely different state and it was the holidays and I needed some extra cash years ago. So that there's no shame in that. That happens. You got to do what you got to do. But my point is that you need to stay the course. Do not stop. Do not give up. Do not allow yourself to give into that negative mindset, to that negative voice that is doubting whether or not you're good enough, whether or not you're helping people, whether or not you're doing what you're meant to be doing. Like, don't let those voices root themselves in the back of your mind and anchor into your mindscape. Don't let it happen. Just keep showing up, burn all of the other bridges, and stay true to your pathway forward. You know, if you are confident that you are actually living your gifts, that you are showing up, just know that you are making an impact. I help people develop their spiritual abilities, their intuitive gifts, and I can say this with absolute confidence that the angels are absolutely putting the pressure on and turning the heat up with people around developing their abilities and using them. Your gifts are meant to be used, they're meant to be expressed in this lifetime. You chose those abilities, you chose those gifts for a reason, and you're meant to be expressing them in this lifetime. So do not stop, do not give up, stay the course. It will pay off. Thank you so much for joining. If you haven't liked or subscribed, please do so below so that you can stay abreast of new content as it is posted. I also have a larger certification course for those who are interested in showing up as a healer on a much more professional level, and that is a 140-hour healing certification that is accredited by the International Practitioners of Holistic Medicine. For that is also linked below. You're welcome to book a private call with me to see if that would be a good fit for you in the future, and we can discuss any questions you have and what that looks like. Thank you again for joining. I'm Erika Larsen, psychic energy healer, instructor, and angelic trance channel, and thank you again.